Good morning, everybody. We've got a lower trade in the grain markets here early on Thursday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. December corn futures down 2.5 cents at 536 and 3/4. November soybeans down 8 cents at 1237 and a half. December Chicago wheat down 3 at 746 and a quarter. December Kansas City wheat down 6.5 cents at 753 and a quarter. December spring wheat unchanged at 989 and 3/4. If you guys are listening on the podcast, as always, appreciate it. Leave me a rating or review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like these videos, help me out there. If you need some additional assistance from me, check out my subscription service, guys. Go to standardgrain.com, click on Grain Marketing Plan in the upper right-hand corner. I send out a ton of information to my subscribers for $49.99 a month. You'll get my morning email, text message service, subscriber-only videos. This is a monthly deal. It can be canceled at absolutely any time, no questions asked. I will not try to sell you anything else, I promise. Certainly check this deal out. You will not regret it. Whole bunch of trade chatter yesterday suggesting that China was back in the market for U.S. corn, for U.S. soybeans, and for U.S. wheat. And it may be for this reason, or at least partially for this reason, that we had a big rally yesterday. Have you ever noticed that by the time that these sales are reported, whether via flash sale or in the weekly reports, the markets typically don't rally on flash sales or weekly reports? The reason for that is because this business, when it's done, it's done between private parties. ADM or Bunge or Cargill or Dreyfus, they'll make the sales to China, and then they've essentially got about 24 hours to report that to the government. So when the sales are made, there are people in the grain business who know about them, and then we find out about them, a day later or something along those lines. So it's a pretty rare occasion to see the markets actually rally when USDA confirms this stuff. Typically, the rally happens before the actual sales are reported, and that could be the case this time around. So if you were to see a flash sale reported today, tomorrow, whatever, don't be surprised, but also don't expect the market to rally on it, because I think that's probably why we rallied yesterday, honestly. These sort of rumors, they turn out to be at least partially true most of the time, more often than not. It would be interesting if China was in fact back in the market for U.S. corn, because they have not made a purchase of this year's U.S. corn crop since like May. It's been months since they've made any sort of significant purchase. In regard to soybeans, we desperately need to see additional Chinese business. The export program is very poor. If it does not improve, USDA is going to have to reduce its export projection, which means a larger bean carryout. In regard to wheat, the business would be welcome. Now, that may lead me into my next story here. Heavy rains in China have hurt corn quality and delayed harvest a little bit, but maybe more importantly, they are delaying winter wheat planting. So China's still going to harvest a record corn crop. They're going to be 2 or 3% above the previous record, which was from 2016. They're going to have some quality issues because of all these rains during the fall. Now, winter wheat planting in China was 26% complete through October 19th. They would typically have about half of the crop planted by that date. So China's ag ministry says it will take extraordinary measures to handle the challenges that the rains have caused for growers. I don't know exactly what they can do. You can't fix planting delays. China is the world's second largest corn grower behind only the U.S., and China is the world's largest wheat grower, and they don't export much of anything in regard to those crops. So if there was a big crop issue in China in regard to wheat, that could open the door to more demand, maybe from the U.S., which would be a positive. U.S. ethanol production surging last week, 1.032 million barrels per day. That was up 6.2% on the week, up 20% versus the same week last year, and up 10% versus the same week in 2019. We were only about 1 percentage point below the all-time high weekly print, which was 1.108 million barrels per day from December of 2017. So we've seen like a 20% increase in ethanol production here in this country just in the span of 3 weeks. The production margins are phenomenal. The U.S. ethanol producer is making a lot of money here. Demand for ethanol itself appears to be very strong. Ethanol stocks are still pretty low seasonally, which implies that despite the fact that we're producing a lot more ethanol, we're using it, and that's a positive. So this is all a big positive item here. I expect this to continue. if you've noticed unusual basis strength in your neighborhood seasonally. There's some crazy basis stuff going on across the country in regard to corn. This is one of the culprits, the fact that the ethanol producer is making so much money. And they had been very slow up until harvest because you had this crazy basis level. Cash market was on fire. It's settled down a little bit. More corn's coming in, so they are grinding corn for ethanol at a very, very strong pace here. The U.S. stock market trades near all-time highs. We're a little bit lower here this morning, but both the S&P and the Dow missed all-time high closes by like a fraction of a percentage point yesterday. The NASDAQ's about 2 percentage points from all-time highs. Better than expected earnings reports, at least part of the story here. The market's been able to shrug off, the Delta variant, supply chain issues, property crisis in China, signals that the Fed may begin to taper, all sorts of stuff. So very strong trade in the equities. We've got an export sales report this morning at 7:30. Corn sales expected 700 to 1.4. Bean sales should be good, 1.5 to 2.5 expected. Wheat sales expected 250 to 650. Remember, guys, November grain options expire tomorrow. Make sure you take a look at any remaining open positions you have there. Cattle market finished higher in the fat cattle, also higher in the feeder cattle. Not sharply higher, but we had a nice day. Cash cattle has been scattered so far, 123 to 127 yesterday. Most of the trade in the south, 124. Slightly better in the north. The box beef was mixed yesterday. In the outside markets, the S&P's down 12. The Dow's down about 100. Bonds down a little bit. Gold's down $5. Silver down. Crude oil is down 82 cents in the January WTI at 81.56. Everybody have a great day today. I'll talk to you guys same time tomorrow.